Waziwaba no musa. Those were the words when you were growing up in the nice dusty streets of Bulawayo, the city of kings and queens. Dusty streets. And then there you were, your mother there, right there, waiting to hear the beautiful words of what their young son had done to the neighbors. But for my mother, it took a long while before she heard those words. You don't want to know what she heard. But with mischief came times where you needed to make up for it. And making up for it meant something like spotting your neighbor, going right there to her and helping her with the bags. Just not really to help her, but to see if there are any bubble gums in the plastic bag. And at that moment in time, that's when you would get like, oh, you're so kind, my son. And you'd be like hoping that by the time she gets home, she does call by the juror all day, say, yeah, your son today helped me. But it never happened. But as I grew up, I always yearned for that person to say to me or to my mother, Waziwaba no musa, mtanako. And as I grew up, it never really happened. To a point where I was just done with this whole thing of kindness and helping other people, making up for mischief, because even if you make up for it, you are not saved. They will always still remember that you stole mangoes 3 days ago. I remember then a point in time when my friends and I were chatting, and I was like, why would I even bother traveling to another city when even my own city doesn't appreciate or find value in me? What more starting a new community with the new people around you? And little did I realize that accidentally I would find my way to the city of sunshine, Harare. And contrary to what you think it looks like, it's possibly the dirtiest city in Zimbabwe. But what made it an interesting experience is, for the first time, I actually got the words, Waziwaba no musa, mtanami, from a lady who knew nothing about me, but she just appreciated seeing me. But there was something special about this lady, her daughter. I leave her to your imagination. See, it was so special that I always yearned to look for her whenever she is coming through that corner, and then I would be able to rush to her and carry her bags so that I could get into a yard and possibly bump into her daughter. Wouldn't you want to? And every time I did this, the daughter was locked in the bedroom, apparently doing some homework. No matter what time of the day it was, I never got the opportunity to meet her. And I still hoped accidentally one time I would meet her. And every time I went up to her, she would come back and say, Waziwaba no musa mtanami. And I would walk her home in her yard, get into the kitchen, pack even the groceries for her. But her daughter never went out of her room, never went to the bathroom when I was there, never greeted her own mother. That's what my friends would do to me. They would laugh at me like you just did. And accidentally I found myself in South Africa. And when I found myself in South Africa, it was good timing, because a few days before then, the daughter had come out of the room. The daughter was in the streets, but the daughter was kissing another guy. So what better way to get over their daughter by coming to South Africa? Although with my fears for South Africa, they were, you're hearing stories about what's happening in South Africa and how you could be in danger. And then it becomes real when you're in South Africa. But sometimes you forget about it, because when you cross the Bait Bridge from a city of darkness, and then there are lights from just by the border, even in the darkest forests, there are still lights. And then you're like, yeah, Egoli. I remember now, my dad has been promoted to general manager, and they've transferred him from Bulawayo to Egoli. And we're living in Centurion. My dad would call and tell us that yes, there are stories about what's happening there and there and there, but nothing like that is happening in Centurion. And it would make me feel a little bit calmer. But what would make me feel calmer was that we lived not more than 100 meters to a police station. Not more than 200 meters was the big Unitas hospital. And just close by, like just a stone throw away, was a shopping center. Hey, Wena. From where I'm from, a stone throw away is a tuck shop. At the backyard of your own home. So it was a real big achievement. Selfies knew me. I learned the art of taking photos and getting the background in. And it was a beautiful experience. And by the way, did I mention that 3 kilometers just from my home was the big Centurion Mall. Now, there's only 2 malls that I know of in Harare. Eastgate Mall and Westgate Mall. And from the way I say it, you can tell Eastgate is there, Westgate is there. And I'm here. But 3 kilometers from my home was the Centurion Mall. And because my dad would go to work, I had the whole day to myself. But the whole day to know where Spar is, where Checkers is, where Pick and Pay is, where that small Chinese people's shop is at that big Centurion Mall. For the first 2 weeks, I would go, as he left the house, I would follow right after him without his knowledge. And I would come back right before he came back home, which was around about 6:30 p.m. And I was exploring Centurion Mall. I mean, I could be a tour guide for Centurion Mall if you want. But this one day, I was tired. I knew where every shop was. I could even tell you the prices on the specials or which shops were actually offering the 50% discount. But I remember this very day because having been tired, and by the way, did I mention that some money had come from Zimbabwe and I had actually gone into Western Union for the first time. And from where I'm from, where we know inflation like the back of our hand, you know how to carry money in big pockets. You know how to carry a bunch of money, notes. You see, most of you are privileged to know just the gold card. In Zimbabwe, you were not rich if you didn't carry a wheelbarrow full of money. You were not rich if your hands were heavy with money. For you, the rich is quite the opposite. They've got a platinum card, a black card. For me, this didn't mean anything. This was just like a business card that you get from that one person who has decided to start their business today. But I remember so vividly that day, I had at least 3,000 in one pocket, 4,000 in the another, 2,000 in another in the back pocket. Close to the 3 point something, but because I bought pies and sour worms, I don't remember exactly how much, but I did have a few thousand in that pocket. That's not all. I had a jacket on. There was money in the other pocket. There was money in the other pocket. And guess how many phones I had? 3. So you could contact me on any of the 3. And I wouldn't get confused if it was Jolene or Mary or Libu Honey. But I remember so vividly that time as I was just about to get to my house. There's a 10 off. You know the 10 off where there are robots and then the police station is just across. There approached a curvy lady. No, a curvy woman. She was really curvy. She had bowed hair, red lipstick, a nice red jacket, cleavage. I won't describe it. And she was carrying heavy bags. So you can imagine what she looked like on the upper body. And then you can imagine what came to my mind. Could this be an opportunity for Waze no musa? And yes, it was. I remember approaching her, and it's just as I approached her, she looked at me. She's like, "Uzonceda mkhwenyana." And on Isidingo 2 days before, I'd learned that umkhwenyana could be actually the husband. I was like, "Yebo, uzonceda ntombazikazi." And I'm like, then she looked at me and she realized, this translation. Where do you come from? Like, no, I stayed just right there. It's like, yeah, but where did you come from before you stayed right there? And then because I want to continue the conversation, I'm from Zimbabwe. She's like, I knew Zimbabweans were kind. You're so kind, my son. Are you here to help me with the bags? It's like, yeah, wherever you're going. But it was perplexing to me because where I come from, it's normal to see a beautiful, lovely lady carrying bags without a car. But in South Africa, everyone has a car. Even he who doesn't have a job and is crying of unemployment, he has a car. The only time he doesn't have a car is when he is protesting. So I had learnt about this, but it was perplexing. Why such a beautiful lady? And who cares? She's beautiful. I'll walk with her. It's a cab. And then I decided I would walk with her. She's like, no, wait. I'm tired. I looked down and I saw her shoes. Just like the dashboard on your car, you can tell, or you could tell she has been coming from a far, far place. And as she stopped and paused, she says to me, I'm looking for this address. Are you able to help me? She took out a card. It said Centurion. It said Littleton. But the street name is not familiar. Now, I am a millennial. There is something called Google Maps. I took my phone out. It was an iPhone. This is one of them. She's like, "Hey, Nkwenyana, you've got such a lovely phone." I'm like, "Thank you." And then I went to Google Maps. And then I looked for this address. Nowhere to be seen on Google. But I still wanted to help her. So she sat by a rock and really looked tired. Took out some pocket tissues from one of her pockets. And nicely, like a lady, she took them out. And then the most interesting thing happened. What you wouldn't expect from a nice, beautiful lady. Yeah. Beauty you may not change. You can keep the beauty. But behaviors you can change, right? If someone is ugly, that's how they are. Behaviors you can change. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sure we can work on this behavior. In my mind. She put the right tissue right in her pocket. Yeah, I can tell from her faces. I couldn't show that face. She was beautiful. And then I remembered, wait, I can't help. But maybe if we'll ask someone. And she was like, yeah, let's ask someone. And there, coming just crossing from the police station, was a young gentleman in a white t-shirt, unomkhaba. But she looked stressed. You could just be worried that just maybe he might just be hit by a car. But maybe he could be the right person to help us. She looked at me and she says, Visa Lomfana, call that guy. And then I did the honorable thing. I respected her wishes and I called the guy. From the way we looked, I was dressed in a bit of a smart format. I could match with her. But this guy, he's got too many worries. He can't be competition. So I was comfortable calling that guy. When I called him, she spoke to him. It's like, I'm looking for this place. Can you help me? The gentleman's like, I don't know this place. I've got issues of my own. Please don't start. At that moment, I thought, okay, how do I help this lady? And there was no way to help. Then she says, no. If you help me, I can also help you too. I can see you're coming from the police station. There's an issue that is lingering over you. He's like, yeah, who goes to a police station with no issues? He says, no. I can help you. You see, I know what you're going through. If you go and stand there, I'll be able to assist you. Please, stay with me a little longer. My father is a Sangoma. And the reason I have to go to this place is simply because this person paid my father money he was not supposed to be paid for helping him. And I need to take that money back. You have to help me, or else my father will die tomorrow. And then it got scary. Wazoba no musa kept ringing in my head because I really wanted to help now. How many opportunities do you get to save a life, to be the hero? So I stood by her, and when we thought about it, and as that guy came back, he asked her, did you figure out what my problem was? Said yes. You had an accident 3 days ago. You hit a pregnant woman, and that woman is suing you. I can help you. This guy looked perplexed, shocked, and wondering, how did this happen? Without any time, he was sold. And there they were having a conversation. And so was I, now interested in this conversation. And she says to me, Lawefut, I can help you. Who do you stay with? My father. Where is your mother? In Zimbabwe. Yeah, there's a reason why they're separated. And I can help you before it gets worse. If I go by the traffic lights there, in 10 seconds or in a minute, I'll be back. And she did go to the traffic lights. And as I stayed, I had a conversation with this gentleman in the white t-shirt. And the conversation was like, so, uvela kuphi wena? No, I'm from Zimbabwe. Oh, how did you meet this lady? No, this is how we met. Oh, okay. So who do you stay with? My mother. Oh, okay. And I told her the whole story about where I'm coming from. We're having a conversation, Moss. Then she came back. When she came back, she says, you are living here. Your mother is in Zimbabwe. Your father is a general manager. You've got siblings and the story goes on. But I want to help you. Remove all your phones, all your money, and put it in this plate. Go and pick up 3 stones, and I'll show you why your relationship with your father and mother is about to fail, and how you can save it. Emotions. I took out my one phone. I took out my other phone. I took out all the money I had in the other pocket. And then for a minute I paused and asked myself, do I really want to show this person how much money I have? Maybe not. But no. What if this could save my parents' relationship? I don't want them to be a statistic of the divorce rate. So I took out from the other back pocket and I gave it in her hands. In the blink of an eye, I grabbed that whole pack bag and ran home. Yes, I ran back home. But I still wonder today if maybe I could have learned something from that lady. Or just maybe, that beautiful, curvaceous lady was desperate to get supper for her children. Just maybe she was the breadwinner of her Bazugulus. Just maybe I could have helped her. Or just maybe, after all that, I could have said, waze waba no musa, mkhwenyana. It's still a story unknown. And maybe the next time we tell the story, I can share with you that I survived with all my phones. Thank you.